Alright, nice. Cool. No issues detected. Very nice. Live. And for the first time in a while, I actually don't have any plans to talk about anything specific. So I feel like this might be more focused on the gameplay. Unless somebody has something that they would specifically like me to talk about. Talk about this game, talk about other games. Is there an update in the Retro Rewind video trying to act depressing about people until they realize the video was just people have to learn stuff in their life to get smarter? Uh, really? I would, that'd be kind of funny to see. I have noticed there's an uptick in like I consider myself even kind of a historical fatalist in some sense. Uh, uh, but a lot of people have been leaning very hard into the learned helplessness angle of uh, you know, not being able to do shit. You know, because like average person is like baby until education. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's obvious. Yeah, that's probably... If somebody made a video that was kind of like that, I imagine that's some version of them just probably projecting some kind of insecurity outwards. Because, yeah, obviously, fucking, you know, baby is born, baby human, congratulations, you're a winner. And then, like, you don't know shit until you start learning shit. And the purpose of education, nominally, is for you to learn shit. And that's kind of how you go from baby to not baby. You know? Isn't there a fucking whole ass movie about this featuring Adam Sandler? Like, it's Happy Gilmore or some shit? I feel like people should know this. It'd be more depressing if people couldn't learn stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, learning... When I said that, like, I feel like anybody who makes a video like that and tries to imply a very depressing tone is kind of projecting some kind of insecurity outward. It's kind of like there just has to be a willingness to learn. Everybody has the capability to learn. Everybody just doesn't necessarily have the willingness, you know? Yeah, and like if you think about the alternative, like, okay, are we supposed to like come out fully formed, fucking Athena style? Is Zeus supposed to give birth to us from his forehead, fully grown? And then, like, there's no possibility for us to ever learn anything else? Like, that's just it? Like, that would suck. A lot. Also, part of the reason that people are so different from each other is because of the learning process that takes an entire lifetime. It's better for adapting to environment, better for storytelling. Yeah. Alright. Let's go, baby. You know I gotta do it to him. Dry ruins every time. It's my favorite track in the game, man. Can't not pick it. Creatures that have information when they're born have very simplistic information. Yeah. That's like the baseline. There's every like if you know something, if there's something that's already coded into you when you're born, then it's like it's coded into you. That's the baseline, right? And then anything on top of that is comes from socialization, education, etc., etc. Oops, I didn't realize that I hit the dirt there, but I guess I did. Talking about like spiderwebs, yeah. Or like basic shit, like breathing. Like if babies are born and they they know how to breathe, because it's like, oh yeah, like I have lungs and shit. I'm gonna chuck one of these. Oh wow, I didn't get him. Genuinely surprised. Or like how fish would come out of the egg and know how to swim, because that's like that's just like, yeah. You know, extremely basic shit. Oh. I wasn't going fast enough to get the trick there. And I didn't get a box. That is very unfortunate. And I'm gonna get owned by this red shell, or not, because I'm a genius. Okay. The guy hit me on, well, that's what you get, huh? I'm just getting tossed around this race, holy shit. Oh shit. Didn't realize that's what was happening here. Give me... I don't fucking know what place I got. 5th? Okay. Be screwed on so many levels if I was incapable of learning in real life. Yeah. Like I said, that's kind of what life is. You go and learn and interact with shit that's around you, and, you know, hopefully don't die in the process until it's, like, time for that shit to happen, you know? Jesus. Reminder that, again, I'm not sick. My lungs just fucking suck for whatever reason. You know, I actually, I've been getting more into, Street Fighter lately. I mean, well, more into. I've been playing some Third Strike and stuff. And I'm not sure the degree to which I want to engage with, like, the online community yet. We'll see. Well, I guess I'll kind of take that as it comes, right? Like, you know, basically, like, one online gaming thing at a time, you know? But I actually set up some save states. In Third Strike, there's, like, in a lot of fighting games, you have, like, arcade mode, because a lot of these fighting games were designed with arcade cabinets in mind. They were designed for arcade hardware. In Third Strike, you fight this this final boss character called Gil, and he truly is a final boss character. He is a inaccessible character. You can't play as him. You can only play against him at the end of arcade mode. And he's a cheater character. Like, it's like, it's an unfair boss, right? Because Third Strike came out in 1999. So you would have to, like, spend money to play the game. So they wanted you to, like, fucking die a bunch, so that you'd have to spend more on playing the game over and over. But because I have an emulator, I don't need to worry about that. So what I did was I just went through arcade mode with a selection of characters. And then I, like, set up a save state. Once I reached Gil, the final boss, I set up a save state at the beginning of the fight, so that I could load it whenever I wanted to fight him. And I did that with a few characters. I think Ryu, Ken, Akuma, Sean, Yun, and Yang I did this with. Holy shit, that is a big-ass shortcut that he just did. And I think in the future I might also do it with Urian. I'm hoping to basically use this as a way for me to learn more about each of the characters in Third Strike to like test my mettle against Gil. Which is it's a very parry intensive boss fight. You know, you tap forward to parry. You hold backwards to block, but you take a little bit of chip damage on block. And it's also slower than just parrying something and punishing it. Also in video games, stereotypes giant powerful person, but it's really stupid why they lose. Well, Gil is like a big guy, and he's extremely powerful relative to the other characters, but he's also really fast, which is why he's really powerful. So, you know, hopefully, once I get comfortable playing against Gil with, like, the Shotos and Yun and Yang, maybe I'll go it with Urian and Q, actually. I'm not usually a fan of charge characters. You know, charge characters, as opposed to motion input characters, you know, you would draw, like, a quarter circle or a half circle or like a Z shape with motion input characters, and then press a button, and that's how you do the special move. With a charge character, you just hold back for a second, and I do mean like a full second, and then you press forward and do the thing, or you hold down for a full second, and then you press up and do the thing. I'm not as big a fan of charge characters, but I think something about Urian and Q makes it so that it's like a little bit more fun to engage with the charge mechanics, you know? Yes, Gil is one of those characters where if you could pick him, you would never lose. Third Strike is not a very, like, long combo. It is a high damage, short combos game where each individual hit can do a lot of damage. You can do a lot of damage, but combos are not very long. But you know, nobody usually has touch of death combos. They are extremely situational. And you know, they're not really viable for competitive settings unless you're playing against Akuma, because he's like a really low health character. And again, even that's like really situational. Gil has a touch of death combo on everybody in the game in every situation, with one exception, and that is Q when he's like maximally buffed on his health. There are some characters that have certain buffs that you can do by taunting. That's a interesting mechanic in Third Strike. And the only character to escape Gil's touch of death in any circumstance is Q when he has defense buffs. Which gives you an idea of how stupid this character is. And the touch of death combos are stupidly easy too. You know, it's like you do one punch move, and then you do the same move 5 times, and then they're stunned, so you get a free hit, and then you do the punch move again, and then you do the same move like 5 times again, and then they die. It's ridiculously easy. And yeah, you can't, in the arcade version and for purposes of tournament play, you cannot select Gil. However, there is one circumstance under which you actually can play as Gil. Also, I'm a fucking god at this game, doing the sand hop under those circumstances. And that is actually in home console releases of the game. Gil is a playable character. You can, I believe you can unlock him. Ow. Shit. What is that Hammer Bro guy doing? Is he trolling? I feel like there's a cheater in the room. Oh, what? 1 mushroom. Okay. How many characters? Yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't know if he's cheating, but he might be trolling. Maybe. Or maybe he's just going through it a lap behind. Who knows? Anywho. And he's gone now. He was there specifically. My new conspiracy theory is that guy joined the game specifically to ruin the Dry Ruins race because he knows that I'm streaming and he's stream sniping. And then he just left because he's accomplished his mission. That's my conspiracy theory. Little does he know, I will pick that track again. Maybe. I don't know if I want to. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll leave that till next time. Regardless. You can't low trick those. Okay, please fix. Oh, man. That is unfortunate. Yeah, they also probably tried to low trick as well. Why do they have that ramp there? Well, I guess this is a Nintendo design, so that's on Nintendo. Ordinarily, I'd be like, what were the custom track designers thinking? But in this case, it's, you know, what the fuck was Nintendo thinking, you know, making this track? Nintendo not sending their best for the track design shenanigans. This is probably a good place to use the bullet. Gets me over these slow ramps. Yeah, I make up a bunch of ground doing this. Give me around this turn. Perfect. I might chain this at the... or not. Okay. Give me that. Thank you. I was gonna say I might chain this at the first item set because I could feel the shock coming. But, you know, there it was regardless. And I am going to start using this here. I'm taking the outside. Like, Jesus, dude! I didn't want to get bananaed, and then that guy just shrooms by and bumps me off for no fucking reason. And then I get 9th. I'm not even racing poorly. I raced pretty well that race. It just got fucked up at the end. Although this is, you know, a pretty cutthroat room, I guess. So that's what's up. I know TWD is doing a kind of like a road to 30,000 thing. 30,000 is the maximum amount of VR you can get in this distribution pack. And I was thinking long term it might be nice to set that as a goal for myself as well. That'd be cool. Back here. Also, outside of gaming, I kind of want to, I think maybe later this evening, definitely before I go on vacation. After this week, I'm going to be out of town, so Thursday will be my last stream for a little while. I'll be back first, or like the second week of June or something like that. Sometime in there. And I want to bring that book with me that Unlearning Economics wrote that I actually pre-ordered. The Why We're All Getting Poorer. That'd be a cool reading project to do while I am at the beach. But then also, what I wanted to do was look for, before I go out there, some literature on labor vouchers. You know, the whole the philosophical definition of like communism and socialism, or mostly communism, is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. And I've read quite a bit of economic and otherwise academic literature on how the stateless and classless part of that would work, but I haven't read as much about how a complex economy would work without money, you know? which is not to say I don't know that it's possible. I do know that it's most likely pretty possible. It's just a matter of, like, what would it look like, basically? Because part of the problem with wealth consolidation, one of the things that makes it possible, like, at all, is that money tends to flow upwards, like, because of how the velocity of money works. When you're poor, you spend money on stuff. And it's true that you generally do learn to spend what's in your pocket, right? But at a certain point, there is a point beyond which it actually, like, the velocity of that money naturally starts to slow down, because you don't need to spend it on stuff. So people will start building nest eggs or whatever, and that represents money with pretty low velocity, right? And then, of course, that gets more extreme the more you go up the, like, socioeconomic funnel, basically. And when you get to the top, there's money with effectively zero velocity, because it's sitting in, like, offshore accounts not doing anything except accumulating and iterating upon itself, right? But with labor vouchers, theoretically, you wouldn't have that problem, because, like, you know, the point of money is that it has a certain intrinsic exchange value that is infinitely replicable and valuable. Like, if you had a dollar bill from, like, the 1800s that circulated all the way up to the 21st century, you could still use that dollar bill to purchase something. It would be a valid purchase. But that also is part of the problem, because it's like, the abstraction of that value allows it to flow upwards. And as a result, you know, you get that sort of stagnation of economic activity where wealth gets continually drained from the working class and gets put in a place where it has zero velocity. And you know, it's like a natural tendency towards entropy, where the entropy of money is when it's laying completely still and no longer circulating and providing real use value, or like real exchange and use value to people, right? Reason why rich people hate safety nets? Yeah, because it keeps the money circulating. They just want to have all of it, right? So, and the difference with a labor voucher, the difference, you know, in concept, in theory, or whatever, like, if you had a labor voucher, it would not be infinitely expendable, basically. Like, if you performed some work, you like, I don't know, you worked at a grocery store, right? And you got a labor voucher or a handful of labor vouchers for the work that you put in, because that's, you know, that's kind of the point, right? A labor voucher you get for doing labor. It's a representation of that. You could exchange it once, but then whoever receives it in that exchange would not be able to exchange it. Does that make sense? There's like and they are also perishable. You can't hold on to those labor vouchers. Like, you wouldn't be able to build a nest egg of labor vouchers because it's not money. And so if you sort of build in these components that enforce a very high velocity of this quasi-currency at all times, such that wealth accumulation is actually not possible, you know? Oh no, that's a trap. If you're rich, this is good. What? No, if you're poor, this is good. Because if you're rich, you would, like, if you're rich, the abolition of money would mean that like, you would have, if, let's say, if the money supply just got turned into labor vouchers, you would have to literally spend all of it by a certain point. Otherwise, your like, the amount of it that you have would just go to zero. Like, it would just be hoovered up into thin air, right? That's how labor vouchers work at a fundamental level. Yeah, that's the difference between money and labor vouchers. The concept of money is really good for rich people because it allows accumulation to happen. Money is infinitely exchangeable and like, accumulable. I'm in first now? Cool. Somebody did the shortcut. I was really trying to prevent that guy from passing me. Later today, I'm gonna watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's a good movie. Yeah, the door opens in. Have fun. Okay. So, you know, labor vouchers. That could be potentially very effective for basically making any sort of wealth accumulation impossible, because it would be a way to sort of enforce the collective sharing of that wealth, if that makes sense. By having a universally high velocity of money, or I guess velocity of currency in the form of labor vouchers, you ensure that economic goods and services are always moving around. Somebody is always getting something, and there's not like, it's not really possible to have that much economic stagnation. But again, that's just a very basic foundation. You could poke a million holes in what I just said, and you very well could be right to, because that's something I'm not very well read on. I just know that there's a million fucking problems with the concept of money in its modern iteration, and in many of its iterations, and the concept of loans, debt, interest, and whatever, and the ways in which it enables accumulation of something that nominally has the utility of facilitating the flow of goods and services, such that it no longer facilitates the flow of goods and services and just leads to mass misery. You know? I think that's a problem. You know? Holy shit, the mock bike is so good. Remember watching that Jubilee video that came out recently? It's like, maybe you can... maybe we can be reasonable, and what, after watching 1/10 of it, you're like... yeah. Resisting the urge to Fed post. Where is my unregistered, unlicensed firearm that I can definitely be arrested for having? Oh, dude, that guy had it in for me specifically. You see how he slowed down to throw that shell? Damn. No, I didn't get a box. Yeah, it's hard to argue against people who are participating in the discussion in bad faith, because it's like they're clearly not invested in anything that's being said, you know? Yeah, it's like, it kind of falls apart, because it's like, I'm playing chess with a bird who's shitting all over the chessboard. What do I fucking do about this? Like, that's kind of the part where you just hit them over the head with a rock, and you're like, alright, you shut up, so I win. Bro, what is with these fucking people? The Mario Kart Wii community is not okay. You see that shit? Jesus Christ, dude. There's a lot of Nintendo game communities that are really toxic, despite it being Nintendo. Oh, yeah. Every time you see somebody driving Funky Kong Flame Runner online, you should assume that they are behaving to the maximally toxic extent to which it is possible to act. You know? They hate to see a fucking autistic bitch winning on the mock bike. Likely ban evader. Uh-oh. Well, it's a good thing I have easy access to a ban button. Pro Pokemon players use eugenics to create the strongest soldiers and abandoned every other child. Fuck, that's true. Didn't get an item, that's probably fine. Nice. So many unethical things required for being a pro Pokemon player. Yeah. Oh yeah, these guys are sweaty as fuck. You guys see them do that shortcut without having a mushroom? Extreme sweat lords in this room right now. Oh, what the f- My grip didn't come out. Did you see that? I was holding R for dear life, and I just sort of slowly turned like a dumbass. Oh, man. Alright, well. Bro! I'm getting tossed around, dude. Of course. Shock happens there. I can get on this part, that's fine. Not a bad position to be in going into lap 3. Especially because of this. Well. Okay. Pandemonium on the highway here. Legitimately a very difficult section. Luna, you can have first. I may try to do the shortcut here, but, you know. Yeah. God damn, dude. I'm getting bumped around all the fucking time. Again, I've raced probably better than 99%. I've probably raced better than anybody else in that room. But that's Mario Kart. You race the best out of everybody, you get 7th. Because of some shit that you could not have seen coming. Had a vehicle so bad that had me turning the Wii remote. Did not do anything. Average spear moment. Keep getting videos on why my favorite cartoon character is actually bad type videos. Fucking contrarian slop. Bullshit. Dude, I got recommended a video from fucking Lex Friedman recently. The YouTube far-right pipeline is fucking unreal. He's gonna throw that one at me. I know it. Or not. Okay. He spared me. Bullet back there, I don't know what that's all about. Didn't get a box, that's probably okay. Barely avoided that. Didn't click on it. There's a video. This person beat up. I was like, what crack are you smoking? I mean, in situations like that, that's kind of where you hit the don't recommend channel button and move on with your life. That's what I do. Like, I saw a Lex Friedman video in my YouTube recommended feed, and I instantly went over to the 3 little dots next to it, clicked on it, and just selected don't recommend channel, and that was the end of it. How do other Republicans stand being around the Republicans? They don't. That's why their entire political identity revolves around owning the libs. They can't stand each other. They fucking hate each other. They hate everything. I'm gonna start using this. Please get me to the shortcut. Yes. Nice. Great usage of that. Now, because they're on Flame Runner, he's literally going to gain on me just by virtue of driving. Why are they backing off? Oh, somebody's got a red shell or a blue shell. Okay. I know I'm due for a blue shell. And that's gonna suck when it happens. But they can't shock me over this. I think I won! Yeah, classic blue shell scenario. For like the entire second half of lap 3, I did not have an item. Jesus. It takes balls of steel to be in one of these rooms with Mario Mockbike. You see the kind of fucking people that are like in these rooms? Jesus, these guys want my head on a silver platter just for existing, right? Like, I almost feel like they would be going for me less if I was on Funky Kong Bowser Bike, like, or Flame Runner. But fuck that, actually. I don't think I've ever played Funky Flame Runner on stream, and I'm not going to start now. I've played Funky on the Spear, and I might do that again because I have the cool, like, Funky Kong trans rights costume. But no Flame Runner. Yeah, no, but they're like, because of the incentive structures that exist in games like this, I explained how the sort of phenomenon of Mario Karting works, where there's a cathartic feedback that you get from like hitting people with items, and as a result you're gonna take the easy targets when they come, which means that if somebody's been hit and is in a vulnerable position, then you're going to try to hit them again, especially if they are easily distinguishable to be hit in the first place, you know, which I am because I'm on Mario Mockbike. Also, nice snipe. Me, pat myself on the back for that. Oh I hit that guy's trail. God damn. You know, there is genuinely a baseline hatred for the other players, even in a casual setting like this. Like, fucking, this is why I don't play competitive, is because all of the shit that is, like, really toxic about this game gets worse when you're in a competitive setting. You know? There's nothing on the line here. I've won because of that weird phenomenon sometimes, because it leaves them open. Yeah, like, people will even engage in this behavior to their own detriment, which is fucking bizarre. The reason why there's a statement, don't play Mario Party with your friends. I actually think that Mario Party is even a better game to play, because I realize for a large part of the game, that shit is just out of my hands, right? Like, fuck it. Let the wheel of fate decide what happens this game, right? It is, you know, bullshit luck game. There's not much skill expression, except in the mini games, which some of which I'm good at, some of which I'm not good at. You know, and of course I'm not above getting upset in a Mario Party game. I'm having like a bad day or something, or if I just get fucking continually dogged on, you know. But genuinely, I think that Mario Party isn't even as bad as this. Oh, shit. Nice. Holy shit. Oh, wow, that guy caught up. You're playing on a modded server with the sweatiest possible people. That's the thing. That's the reason that I started playing Retro Rewind, is because supposedly it was less sweaty than CTGP and would be more fun, like, casually. Because these tracks, it's like, you know, in CTGP, right? The custom tracks had such a high skill floor and such a high skill ceiling that if you didn't practice the tracks in your off time, you would just lose for free. There were like a million shortcuts that were impossible if you didn't already know them, and like didn't require a mushroom, so it was optimal to practice and like grind and just hit those shortcuts every time, which guaranteed that you win for free, and that, you know, if you didn't know them, you lose for free. You know? Like, genuinely, there's too much skill expression of a very technical sort in CTGP, and not enough room for driving fundamentals and, like, regular-ass Mario Kart gameplay. And I feel like that was... I don't know to what extent that's still the case, but it certainly was different about this pack, is that there is room for you to just drive and not have to know the tracks inside and out. But I guess people are going to sweat either way. Also, I'm inducing a pattern with some of these items. They're not so much... Well, that one was meant to hit, obviously. Sometimes when I'm in front, the items aren't meant to hit people so much as it's meant to make them take a different line and slow them down slightly. You see what I mean? These motherfuckers. Alright. There's a reason why some games don't take advice from pro players to add new players to the game. Yeah, legitimately, no game should be taking advice from its pro player base. None of them. If, like, there were actually, I remember in the late 2010s, there were some games that were actually designed and advertised as having listened to the pros. Like, oh, this game's designed for the pros, you know, for a competitive setting. All of them fucking flopped within a month. Because nobody wants to play that shit. You know? Anybody who is in a position where circumstances have aligned for them to play a game at a professional level, like legitimately a professional level in a tournament setting, as a career, is an extremely small fraction of the general audience that you would market a video game to. Okay. I kind of just wanted to get rid of those, but they landed in relatively awkward positions. Quick thinking saved me from hitting the wall. Wow, that POW got a lot of people. I gained 2 spots from that. Ah, okay! Alright. Jesus Christ. I swear if I drive this well and still get the, like, back of the pack, I'm gonna be actually kind of mad. I don't fucking deserve this fate. I know it's only lap 2, but I'm using it. Alright. Ow, fuck! Oh, that wasn't even the Daisy player. I would have, like... I would have been so understanding if the Daisy player just decided to, like, get payback on me. Like, understandable, have a good day. Third? I'll take third. Just curiosity. Do you contact? Oh, like contact info? What? Usually, like other people. Yeah, no, with professional references, usually you don't put that in your resume. Like I have information for that written down in a separate document that I can refer to. But yeah, no, professional references, other people that they can like contact, usually they'll have to ask you for that specifically. You know? Like that's separate from your resume. God, you know what it seems like? It really seems like the more I focus on my driving, the worse I drive. You know, like I've been kind of thinking about like trying to drive well in this game, just trying like not to get hit and stuff. And look what it's gotten me, right? I'm getting fucked up. Oh shit, this guy's on Mario Mock Bike? Let's go. Who's on Mario Mock? Tricks. Shoutouts to Tricks. He's a real one. All you other players are pussies. Except this Daisy Mock Bike player. They're just, you know, playing to the meta. I'm just gonna use this here, I think. Nice, I dodged. Remember, there's a person that tried to compare Captain America and the Winter Soldier to Metal Gear Solid. I mean, there's certainly a comparison to be made there, you know? They're not super similar, but, you know, you can draw some parallels. Oh, somebody dodged that. Please no blue shell? Ha! Nice try, idiot. Imagine if Metal Gear had movies in the movie theater. Just play the games, forehead. They're already basically a fucking 6-hour movie. Seriously, Metal Gear Solid is already basically a movie. You just play the game, instead. Yeah. You know what? I actually think that it would perform poorly in some respects. First of all, because, like, it's an art piece and stuff like that. Well, I don't know. No, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it wouldn't. People like the Metal Gear games. Even if it's, like, to some, it can be kind of like an acquired taste or something like that. Seen clips where the game console said, "Are you playing the game still?" Yeah, Metal Gear does some nutty shit like that. Yeah, I don't know how Metal Gear would do if it was a if it was in movie form, like if it was shown in theaters and if people, you know, did all the concession stand type shit and went and sat down for like the 2 or 3 hour premiere or something like that. I honestly feel like it's better that it exists in game format. Yeah, because I actually think that movie-going audiences, even though gaming, like, is technically a more ubiquitous form of media now, I actually think that movie-going audiences are actually stupider. You know? Like, you can make a game like Metal Gear Solid, and it will amass a following of people who either know what it means or will learn what it means and appreciate it for that, whereas movies are only interacted with on such a pedestrian level. A lot of people would come out of the movie theater, and the only thing they would ever think about it was, yeah, it was good, or yeah, I didn't like it, or I don't get it. You know? Legit. Have a go at that one. That's because games required you to pay attention. Yeah, especially Metal Gear. I'm gonna put this banana here. The banana here. Let's just hope I don't hit my own bananas on lap 3. That would suck. Blue shell notwithstanding, I'm basically guaranteed first. Of course, I understand those are famous last words. You know, blue shell notwithstanding bears a very, very large amount of emphasis, you know, in that sentence. Put that banana really tight. It's a good attempt with that, pal, but I am my own worst enemy. You didn't need to do that, pal. Would have fucked up all on my own anyways. Or I could get that mushroom. Incoming sweat? Yeah, true. Let's see. Is the banana still there? Yes, it is. Very nice. And I win. Good race. Couldn't get too far when I played Metal Gear because I was like 6. Yeah. When you're little, I feel like that's one of the games that you're like, I thought it was cool, but also I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I wonder on the final lap, do blue shells get an increased drop rate? No, items, as far as I know, items do not actually get an increased rate of occurrence as the race goes on. All I know is that for blue shells and shocks, you can only pull them a minimum of 30 seconds after the race starts, and after one is used, it's 30 seconds until the next one can be pulled. And I believe the same thing applies to POWs. There's a certain 30-second rule that I remember knowing very well when I watched a lot of, like, Clan Wars and Mario Kart Wii competitive content. You know? The final lap just tends to be more hectic because people tend to save very powerful items for later in the race when they are more likely to get more utility out of them because it's less likely that the next item sets will matter as much, if that makes sense. You know, like if you have a bullet bill on the final lap, there's less time for everybody else to catch up than if you used a bullet bill on lap 1 or 2. Ah, the tanker from Metal Gear Solid 2. Very cool. Dude, the music in Metal Gear is also just so fire. I'm gonna use this here. It's like, why does the game not like me running up and shooting them? Ah, yes, the stealth, espionage part of tactical espionage action, which was the tagline of the original NES Metal Gear. Holy sh! I ain't even gonna lie, they got me good. Fucking, hats off to you for that one. What's up? I was gonna throw that green shell. Okay. See what I mean about people being toxic? He didn't have to throw those bananas back. I had one. He had 3 bananas and I had 1 green shell. There was nothing that I could do to him that would have threatened him meaningfully. But he threw the bananas anyway. But now I'm in second, so the joke's on him, actually. Now that I've used my last mushroom, though, I do fully expect a blue shell at the line. Especially now that I've done that. Or I could just get second. That's cool, too. Or I got first? Fumble the bag at the last second, still get first. Giga Chad. Is Trix still here? I hope they're still here. My Mario mock bike comrade. Game stole that from your opponent? Oh yeah, that was 100% robbery. Okay, he's gone. This will be the last race. That was like the most robbery finish of all time, that I had 3 mushrooms on that. I didn't even have to spend that last mushroom. In fact, I probably should not have, and I definitely bungled the ending section and still won. That was an instance where I most definitely did not race as well as other people in the room, and I won anyway. What determines who was in first place anyway? True. Combination of skill and luck, which really just means luck, you know? Got his ass! Little pro tip for people in Mario Kart. you can tell if an item's gonna hit. Like if you have a green shell, it's going to hit if you start seeing draft marks on your character. That means you're directly behind somebody. So if you throw it directly forward, it's gonna hit, which is a really nice indicator. There's 6 people, so shocks can still happen. I think I'm just going to use this here. Give me the inside line. I don't particularly care whether I squish that guy or not. Oh my god! Megas are just useful because you can sort of hog the better lines and people have to look out for you. I'm going to throw this here. I was just a little bit off. And I win. Nice. First place 3 races in a row on the last 3 races of the session. Very nice. And we come to the inevitable, immutable conclusion that I'm cracked and all these bitches suck. Especially if they are playing as Funky Kong on the Flame Runner. And anybody who uses the Mach Bike is, in fact, based and virtuous member of the proletariat. Thank you. But yes, the funky users will not be spared by the revolution. Anyways, that's it for me. How much soap is in the Mario universe? That's a good question. I don't know. I would assume some. Do we see them ever use it? No. We do see them eating a lot of shrooms, but they never wash their hands afterwards. They doing a lot of drugs. And as we know from Mario himself, Captain Lou Albano, if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. So on that note, I'm going to rate Hassan. Remember that. Don't do drugs. Talk to your moms, your dads, your teachers, your priests, your rabbis, your ministers, because drugs can and will kill. And if you do drugs, you'll go to hell before you die. I'm not even making that up. That was a real PSA that aired in the 80s. Kids watched TV and they saw that. Mario told them that if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. See you later.